need to adjust, if you feel that quality of dis-ease in any manner, in any way, then adjust the legs. You can be at a wall, you can take more height or less height. And now see if you can dedicate and devote all your energy to be in this timelessness. Know that there's no need to be thinking that you need more time or that you're running out of time. Let it all flow. Just sit, just breathe, just feel, just experience. Sense that there's no need to add, no need to subtract. See if you can rest in the heart of things as they truly are. And then finally sense that the earth holds you, the ground supports you. Let our community hold you moment by moment. Let our community hold you in this moment. Now, now, now. Find refuge in now. Just observe your eyes and see if the eyes have spread from the inner corners to the outer corners. See if your throat is relaxed, the forehead skin relaxed. And then if you'd like, you can fold the palms in front of you in Vasisthasana. Keep the hands at the roots of the thighs. And you can gently repeat perhaps the personal vow that you've made early on, 2020, or the vow that I've been doing for some time now. May I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. And may I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist. Until all beings are enlightened, I vow to be here to serve them all. And when you're ready, gently let your eyes open and stretch out your legs. So I just want to say one thing. As I was reading the vow, I was just something in my mind triggered. So there's a wonderful documentary on Netflix called The Science of Happiness, who features the famous Tibetan monk Mathieu Ricard from France. And if you're interested in watching it, it's really, really good. It's, I think, 58 minutes long, and it's, I think, well worth every single moment. Okay, so we're going to begin. Again, Alana and friends, don't worry if you don't have the props. And actually, for this first one, we're going to do Supta Swastikasana flat. We did this on Tuesday. So I think the very best way to start this, and you know how much I love to say that because it's a Jack Cornfield always says that. So when you're on your back, hold on, let me just adjust this. Have a bolster nearby as well. Let's see if I can. You're going to do Supta Swastikasana on your back. So watch. The best way to start it is to lie supine, bend the knees, and use Dvipada to open up the soles of the feet. Okay? Then stretch the legs. See if you can get them at 90, not beyond 90, not below 90. Keep them poker stiff. Then hold the outer edges of the feet. If you can't reach the outer edges of the feet, use a belt. And then draw the heels as close into your ischial tuberosities, the buttock bones, as the knees will allow. And that's a double action. So as you bring them in, make sure you're lengthening. So this is what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to get, Holly, you see the frontal groins elongated, which is very much what we do in Supta Virasana, but this is a little bit less flexion on the knees. Now, if your heels don't touch the buttock bones, then inch them out away as I just did. If you need head support, take it. So this is a beautiful groin opener. Oh, Donna, you're here. Did you get my email? Something's wrong. I cannot figure it out. I sent you an email over a week ago, and then I sent you another email, and I said, no, something's wrong. We can talk afterward. I'll have to have you. I was going to have Val text me your phone number. Okay. So now you're in Supta Swastikasana, opening your groins. I hope everyone did Urdhva Prasarita Padasana. The other thing I wanted to make 2 announcements. Please go on my kind of new website, talking about body wisdom. And then sort of hot off the press, Patricia and I are doing a workshop on aging and body wisdom down the road. Probably we're going to launch it in, I think, late October. And there'll be some workshops with a variety of teachers throughout actually a year, addressing everything about aging, from the pelvic floor to feet to thighs to muscle mass. It's going to be incredible, I hope. Okay. Supta Swastikasana when you're ready. Suki, do you have your legs on a chair? It's hard for me to see. No, I see the chair was right. It was the image was on. Okay, that's it. Good. Now, when you're ready, take the arms overhead to elongate the side ribs, but keep the arms absolutely straight. Absolutely straight. Really important for the joints. They want to bend. Don't let them. And then many of you are doing already, you can take your hand, and Lana, maybe you want to show, how I often use one hand to turn the skin to lengthen the arm, because that's it, Donna. If you need head support, take it. Be mindful of when the arms overhead, don't push the abdomen up toward the ceiling. The buttocks belong to the legs, the back ribs toward the head. You should not be overarching. Julie, that's good. You're not flattening out your lumbar spine either. It's kind of find the middle path here, in the middle. There's a natural concavity, thanks Lana, natural concavity in your lower spine. Okay, now you can change, you can do Baddha Hasta, pull the wrists, forearms or elbows, or upper arms if you're able, but keep the armpits thin. Keep the armpits thin. Again, if anyone has a dowel nearby, Suki, you often have it, Lubna as well, use the dowel to keep the arms straight when you go back. So, and when you change the cross, go to stretching the arms, go back to the straight position, then change the cross. So versus just crossing and then changing the cross. Extend Urdhva Vasisthasana and then change the cross. Again, be mindful, especially when the arms are overhead, not to overarch in the lower spine. Especially for those of you who are more mobile, Julie and others, at that spot. Supta Swastikasana is a wonderful pose to do, especially for those of you who, I'm not saying don't do Supta Virasana, of course, you can do that, but you get a similar opening in the frontal groins that you would in Supta Virasana. And especially if the knees aren't comfortable with Supta Virasana, it's a better pose to pick, wiser. Okay, now re-extend the arms overhead. Urdhva Hastasana, charge through the fingertips. Focus on keeping the elbows straight, no elbows, right? And then take the arms down, end where we began. And then take the legs out of the cross and stretch the legs back up to where we literally began in UPP, Urdhva Prasarita. Now, see if you can get the legs absolutely straight. Polly, right above the knee, press it back. Relax your throat. Now just extend the arms overhead, not staying too long, although when we work on abdominals next week, we will do, Winnie, that's good. Spread the feet. Okay, now bend the legs, place them on the floor, and take the arms down by the side. And I'd like us to do the, what I call tailbone Shavasana before we stand in Tadasana. So, Lana, it's fine not to have the blanket, but again, your attention is to be one with the spine. So for Lana and friends who don't have the blanket, maybe there's a towel there, you could roll up. But if you don't have a blanket or a towel, just imagine you're on your median line. In fact, I did this morning. I didn't have the blanket right, but I just imagine I had it there. You all know this one where you're rolling up the blanket. I've showed it before. And you're placing your buttocks, your end literally on the very end of this blanket, and you're lying over it. And I'd like us to do it in a very wide position. So you start at the bottom, you roll back, keep the legs bent. It's better for the back. Extend one, then the other, and go wide to decentralize your outer body. But bring your attention to the central column, the spine. So this is, I love doing this pose, tailbone Shavasana, because have the arms in line with the shoulders with the palms turned up. And you can see how as soon as you lie down, the body feels a little tipsy, like you're on a balance beam. But let the breath, don't feel like you have to balance. Let the breath organize your body, right? And the breath will do that. So the body will organize around the breath in that first minute. And it happens on its own. Donna, that's good. So your whole body is on the blanket roll. And now, without moving your eyes into the center line. Hi, Lindsay. I know that wallpaper. Without moving your eyes inward, let the eyes expand as though you were looking at your hands. So it's interesting. You can explore, and oftentimes we teach from the periphery to the core and then from the core to the periphery. But you can experience actually both now. You can feel the outer edges of the body, which is really nice to have a sense of spaciousness and freedom, but then feel your spine, the core, the median line. And oftentimes when we teach meditation to beginners, we actually bring them to the core, the center line of their body, so that they have some sense of groundedness. It's a way, instead of always addressing the feet or the buttocks in contact with the cushion or zafu. So when we teach, being on the median spine, it's another way of giving the student that quality of groundedness, stability when they sit for a while in meditation. And then finally, again, cultivating penetration here, memorize that feeling of being on your spine, because in a moment, we will stand and feel our spines. So this is how one moves to integration and penetration in yoga asana. And this is, in essence, I believe, body wisdom. Using the tools of curiosity, using the tools of questioning to come closer and closer to your inherent, your natural body wisdom. That is there. Just gets covered over by many things. Primarily illusion. And just stay this remaining moment or two that we have, enjoying your breath. Again, feeling the spaciousness inside, the outline of your body on the floor, but also the median line of your body, the spine in contact with the blanket. Let there be an impression of your spine so that when you come to stand, it will be there. Now, when you're ready to come out, just don't catapult out. It can be challenging on the back. So bend one leg, then the other. Roll to your over to your side. It doesn't matter which. And then take a block, and we're going to stand in Samastiti. You can show me in profile. That would be the very best way. Take a block, and we spent some time on Tuesday, those of you who are here. There's three sides of the block. So this is the narrowest. Obviously, this is the widest. And then there's the middle side. So here. So most people will wind up either between the narrow and the middle one, not the very widest. Okay, so I'm taking mine on the middle side. Okay, so Latin friends, I think hip width apart, yeah, will be best. And then if you don't have a block, just, and actually with you, and those of you who have the block, put your thumb and index finger at the corner of the hips so that there's those indents are clearly marked at the hip thigh juncture and pin in there. Now, Julie, to get to your point, actually everybody spread the feet, even if you have to go down there and manually do it. Suck the outer shins in, but move the inner knees away. Okay, now, many of you are standing facing forward. Can you make, the very best way for me to see this is stand in profile, because this is what typically happens. When you take the arms overhead, the thighs come forward. So again, I want you to spread the feet, lift the arches, hug the brick from your hips. The indent should be clearly, get that clarity at the hip thigh junction. Now, without taking the roots of the thighs forward, that's the key. Stretch the arms overhead. Do you see how I didn't take the thighs forward? Don't let the thighs come forward. It's hard. So how do you know if the thighs have come forward? Lena, I think take her arms further apart, because the trapezius looks like it's lifting, just arms further apart. How do you know if the thighs have come forward? The weight's going to be in the toes. So let your weight be right in front of the heel, really basically more to where the arch is. Donna, that's really good. Really good. Contents in the container. All right, now take the arms down, interlace your hands firm at the webbing, palms open, elbows out. And as I said, this arm work, one can do every day, if not every day, at least every other day. And now keeping the elbows firm, reach up. Suki, I can't see the arms, but if they're coming slightly forward in any way, release the finger, interlace, and go back to Urdhva Hastasana, because I can't see you in the screen, but you know what I mean. Now that's really good. Okay, now take the arms down, change the swap, bring them back to the crown of the head. Okay, seal the feet, reestablish the feet, press the feet, don't let the weight come forward. Now, straight up, Urdhva Badanguliasana. Urdhva Badanguliasana. Make your armpits thinner and thinner. Extend through your inner arms. Suki, that's great. Thighs back. Lindsay, good. Thighs back. Thighs back. Imagine you're in a tube, a cylinder tube, plexiglass. Your thighs should be not touching the plexiglass. Lana, that's good. Now release the hands. Go back to Urdhva Hastasana. Reach up. Make your armpits thin. Your legs should feel tall. There's a buoyancy in the pelvis having taken the arms up. So that the energy of Tadasana and Urdhva Hastasana is upward lifting, not downward. Julie, you'll check out dog pose when you're ready. Elaine, you can do Prasarita Padottanasana. Exhale, bend forward. Jump or step back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Julie, try with the thumbs hooked around the bricks, or you can do as you're doing, or use the sofa or a chair. Elaine, just stay in the concave Prasarita. Okay, now here's the mission. We've done the arm work. Wow, yeah, take this to the shoulder. So I want you to just extinguish, Lana, their angle between the upper arm, everybody, upper arm and upper chest. I want the shoulder blades flat. Remember Lubna on Tuesday? She did that pumping action. Everyone come into a high chaturanga. Lindsay, you don't need that action yet as much. Come back and forth as Lubna showed Tuesday to the high chaturanga. Elaine, you can do that piece of it now. Abdomen up, tailbone in, shoulder blades good, flat on the back, good Gail. And now slowly, loop, remember your spine, the median line. You can feel it now as you go back. Come forward into a high chaturanga. Know why you're doing this. We're doing this to decrease the angle between the upper arm and the upper chest, because it's a sign of aging. It just happens. The armpit starts to close, open up, and Julian, you can do it in what you're doing now, Uttanasana. That's it. And also do it in Prasarita Padottanasana, Lana, with the arms forward. So what I would do it, if you're doing Prasarita Padottanasana, in order to achieve the same exact thing that we're doing, I think hands also wider apart, Lana, at a 10 and a 2, or the hands on the blocks would help. So if you're in wide angle Prasarita Padottanasana, take your trunk beyond fingertips and do the concave stage with the chest forward. Okay, now that's good. Julie, that's it. Now walk your feet toward your hands. That's it. So for many of you, the pumping action really helps. All right, now I'd like you to just do the, I'm just showing you I'm kneeling, you're standing. You can put the block back in. You're going to do this. You're going to turn the skin from the inside out, because in a moment we're going to do Parsva-Tadasana. Just do this piece where you're using your hand, left hand on the right arm, and turning the skin and reaching up. So the hand, you have to turn the skin. And then what's interesting, in a moment, we're going to do Parsva-Tadasana and use the floor to do that, which most people think that, oh, you can't do that, but you can. Okay, so let's do that. Turn the skin. See if you can aim the tricep skin right beside the ear. And then if your arm comes forward, keep trying, turning the skin, get the arms back, but the chest forward. Arms back, that's it, Gail. Arms back, but chest forward. It should feel like your breastbone is coming forward, but your arm is moving back. Just one arm at a time, it's a lot easier. But then again, Lubna, without the thighs coming forward, right? So it's like you got to do a triple action, right? All right. Now, this is a little bit harder to illustrate. Take a bolster, have a blanket as well. Watch. So it's too, this is where I always wish I could be in the room, but hopefully you'll see this. So most people need a blanket when they do Parsva-Tadasana, because the bottom will do the right side first. Ear drops down. So I want the right ear to be parallel to the floor. So this is the setup, watch. Okay, so I'm supporting my head because I want my right ear, I'm on my right side, all right? And then I'm actually going to turn the palm up of my right hand. You can start with stability and use the hand on the floor. I'm stacking my legs, and the legs are not forward, nor are they back. You should be able, in terms of alignment, to see your toe tips. Now, I will say that if you have large breasts, it's impossible to see your toe tips. So I say that with a caveat, because I was always happy when I stood corrected by someone. All right, so watch. I'm actually going to roll back slightly, and I'm going to use the floor to turn the skin from the inside out. I'm kind of rocking back. So I want you to use the floor below you to actually do what you just did in Vasisthasana or Gomukhasana top arm to now do, okay? So see if you can give me that much, and then we'll move on. So it's a rare bird that doesn't need support under the head, but if you don't have support, don't worry. I mean, you could also bring your hand and the left hand and put it underneath your ear. But remember why we're doing this. That's the most important. Turn the skin. Use the floor like you used the hand a moment ago when you stood up to turn. Polly, that's good. So there's different ways to open the armpit. And just as an aside, those of you who need to actually know it, well, she didn't teach this in, she taught this in India when we were there. So it was a really nice way of doing Vasisthasana with a focus on the armpit, and then we return back to dog. Okay, that's it. Again, you can release the left hand from the floor, extend the left arm by your side, and you'll get, in addition to the armpit turning, the abdominal work. All right, now we did this on Tuesday. For those of you who don't have a bolster, don't worry, you'll just separate the legs. So those of you, and most of you have the standard size bolster. Luke, it doesn't work, as you know so well, with the cylindrical. You can put a blanket. Just sticking a bolster right up to the perineum. And this scale, we weren't here Tuesday when I did this. This feels really good on the sacrum and the back because the legs are wider. If you don't have a bolster, look, you don't need the bolster, you just separate the legs. Okay? Still keep turning the armpit so it's like a twofer. As much as Vasisthasana, what I like to say, as much for the armpit as it is for the low back. Really good. And then that top left arm extended. So those of you who have been sitting a lot, have had some chronic back issues throughout this period, you know, this could be your new go-to. Yeah, a blanket will work well, Luca. Yeah, that's good. All right. Julia, really good. Wonderful. It should feel really soothing. I hope it feels soothing on your lower back. You can feel the width. So just try this. You can humor me. Release the bolster and see how when the bolster or blanket is not there, how much more narrow the top of the sacrum is, right? Hence, why do we do that particular pose? The therapeutics come from the original pose. Okay, change sides when you're ready. Have the bolster out, and then you'll put the bolster in. Main focus is on your armpit. Use the floor to turn the skin. This tricep, this is the tricep, the back arm muscle, this is the bicep, front arm muscles, and you're using the floor to turn just like you did a moment ago. And then we'll come back and do another dog pose. Julie, you can repeat Elaine, Uttanasana, or even Prasarita Padottanasana. All right. So remember, you're doing this in order when you come to do dog pose again, that there's no angle between the upper arm and upper chest. And then insert bolster blanket if it's available. If there's no bolster blanket, just separate the feet and enjoy the release of the back. So yeah, now the right arm is just on your hip. You're not overhead, yeah. Okay, get the shoulder blades flat on the back. I can't, some of you are facing forward, I can't see that. Now that's good. Be mindful also that the abdomen should not be projecting forward. You can put your hand, some of you I see already doing, abdomen back, and quite good. Abdomen back. You're just imagining you're doing samastiti, a beautiful samastiti, right? Feeling the top of the sacrum broad, the shoulder blades flat, the trapezius moving down to the waist. Okay, now again, with that memory, we're going to come to the top of the mat for samastiti, equal standing. Those of you who step back to dog pose, you can step back with the other leg. Those of you jump, continue to jump. It's very good for the fast twitch muscles. All right, so you're at the top. Now see if doing that kind of detour that we took in Vasisthasana, watch the feet, everyone. Don't let the inner heels collide. Now raise the arms up for Vasisthasana without taking the thighs forward. Exhale, bend forward, step back other leg, or jump back and go. Yeah, Prasad, and make the feet, is that Claudia? Make the feet parallel. Feet parallel. Now you're looking at your side, and most of you are showing me from the side. Young Kui, that's good. There's no angle. Your armpit is long and thin. Good. The shoulder blades belong to the back. Good, Polly. Shoulder blades flat. Make your back body like a blackboard. Donna, good. These are good. Suki, this is good. The other possibility is turning the palms slightly out at a 10 or 2, or taking the hands. See if you can stay, because you're building up timing. You know, each time when we do dog pose and we hold it for about 45 seconds, we're moving toward a timing of perhaps 3, 4, 5 minutes. Okay. That's good. Now, you can walk. I've been doing this a lot, the heel raises and strengthening the calves. If it doesn't suit you, you can work with any of the calf stretches we did. So I've been doing this a lot, teaching this a lot, where you lift your heels up and then your toes are coming up and you're just rocking back and forth. If it bothers you for your head to be down, then you can do it with your hands at the wall. You can do a calf stretch with your feet on blocks, or you can do the calf stretch with the chair. Just reminding you of all these many possibilities. That's it. If you don't like your head down, say you've just eaten breakfast, then I would do it at the wall. Lana, that's good. Okay. Nancy, good. Good, good. Suki, good. That's it. All right. Very good. Winnie, that looks good. You're not moving, the calves are moving forward. Now same. Okay, now from here, we're going to do Supta Panagusthasana 1 and 2. Have a belt. Lana, you can use, I don't know, a towel or something. All right. So if you have a wall, I'd love you to start in Supta Tadasana. We're going to do Dvipada for symmetry. If you don't have a wall, don't worry about it. Okay. So I've gone over this a lot, but this is really the best, especially for people who've been sitting a lot. So you start near a wall with bent legs, as you know, and then you extend the leg, getting the traction, and then you're in Supine Tadasana. Then we'll come into Dvipada. We've been here already. And then Ekapada, right leg in, Ekapada, left leg in. With each subsequent time, you'll deflate the abdomen to bring the leg closer to the chest. So this is my one big request. If you have a wall, then I really urge you to use the wall for Supine Tadasana and Supta Panagusthasana 1 and 2. It really helps to press the foot into something. In addition, you get the traction in your lower spine. So I know it's easy to just lie down and start, but be meticulous. First you're lying down, the legs are bent, you're about 14 inches of feet from the wall. Then you extend through one leg, press the heel in, extend through the other. And now you're in Supine Tadasana, good. And now bring both knees into the chest. Your measurement will stay the same. Dvipada, flex the feet, get that hip. So put your index finger at the top of the knee and trace the skin like I'm doing from the top of the knee back to the hip. Pin it. That's that hip thigh juncture. Feel the skin moving from the knee to the hip. Flex the feet, which will help you open up the soles of the feet and spread the toes. Okay, now keep the right knee staying toward your chest. Extend through the core of the heel. Ekapada. This first one, the thigh may not land on the chest. It will happen in time. Now left knee in, Ekapada. We're alternating. Left knee in, right heel to wall. And then repeat. Go in and out a few times. With each time, aim to get the leg closer. Go slowly. Good, Lubna. Flex through the feet. Use this as an opportunity for several things. Not only to get the hip thigh juncture clarity, but to spread the feet, open up the soles. This is, when I teach that body wisdom workshop, the feet will be an important part of it. And taking Ekapada and Dvipada and opening up the soles of the feet are really important. So that the feet are wide, let the toes spread. And if you even have toe spreaders, you can insert them. Okay, now from here, extend the left heel, take the right knee in, wait there, have the belt nearby, hopefully it's there. All right, now place the belt, and you can use any configuration in any spot. You can put the belt, as I like to do, put the fingers through the end loops around the ball of the foot, but we've gone over so many different ways. Some of you might prefer to put it at the head of the heel, or what we'll say the bottom of the arch, or you can put it at the very back of the heel. Find a way. Start at 90. That's good, Gail. Now begin to move the leg beyond 90, any amount. That's good. Leg is straight. Hips are balanced. Root of the thigh is moving back. Polly, try the toes down, heel up, because I think that was effective. You can, yes. Heel up, toes down. And now put your thumb and index finger right at the top of your right above the knee, and press it back. Make sure, Lindsay, those of you who are going way beyond 90, just keep the outer right hip moving down to the wall. Additionally, Lumina, see if you can press the left thigh down. Left thigh down. Extend, roll it in. You can use your left hand, Lumina, to press the outer thigh to inner thigh and extend strongly from the inner knee to the inner heel. Really good. All right, keep going. Some of you who are well beyond 90, why not hold the big toe? Now, that's it. Donna, Elaine, Lindsay. That's it. Yeah, as you go beyond 90, notice how that outer right hip, those of you who are there, wants to move up and out. Move that outer right hip down into the wall, down toward the wall. That's it. Now use your hand and pin it. Okay, these look good. All right, and then release. All right, so if you're close, say on the, even if you might find on this left side, it might be easier to hold your the left toe than the right side. Go for it. Why not? Now's the time. All right, take Dvipada for symmetry. That's both Dvipada's knees in, both legs. Dvipada. Dvi is 2. Pada's foot and leg. And then Ekapada left leg. And we'll go to Supta 1. Same thing. Start at 90. Get that clarity. Trace that line. Outer left knee to outer hip. Pin in. Ollie. Pin in. Pin in. And really see if you can press the left thigh back toward the wall. Roll the right thigh in and press it down. Okay, now the pelvis is balanced side to side. Maintain, keep that. That's the hard part, is maintaining something, like changing the variables in an equation. All right, now begin to move the leg. Keep Lana, that's good. Keep the shoulder blades flat on the back. I want the back to be flat as it was in dog pose. So no, we're not lifting the shoulders up away from the floor. Shoulder blades belong to the back. Observe the leg on this side value using the block. And quite good. Relax the throat as you move to the Supta, the Kunchanasana aspect of Supta Padangusthasana 1. See how the eyes harden, the throat hardens. Relax those parts. They don't need to get involved. Put a brake on those organs of perception. They don't need to get involved. And now move the leg. Those who can, be way beyond 90, go for the big toe. And going for the big toe, find out. This is penetration. Ask yourself, pose the question. Be curious. In holding the big toe and establishing the hand-foot resistance, did you let the left hip move out? Did you let that left hip roll in? Roll up, rather. Did you let the right thigh come up? That's good, Donna. Probably the left side looks like it's improved now. Actually, it's more bent, it's less bent than the right. Okay, and now come back to Dvipada. All right, now we're doing Supta Padangusthasana 2. So I want you to take we're going to go back up to 90, and then you'll decentralize the left leg out to the side. You're still at the wall, and then you'll take the right leg out. Okay, let's see these. Okay, go back to Ekapada, right leg up. Now decentralize the left leg, like say 3 inches. Not too much, but substantially enough so that the pelvis is balanced. This will help many of you. Again, pressing the left leg at the wall. Now hold the belt with the right hand, extend the left arm out, and now be with your left side. This helps. So when you have the arm a little in line with the shoulder, that's it. So you're reaching through the left arm, and now go. It's very spacious feeling. Go to the right. Lana, thank you. Go to the right. Go to the right. That's good. If your foot is near a wall, or if you're in a corner like Elaine, that's even better to do this in the corner of a room. Okay. Now find out, just take a glance, and we've talked about this a lot. Look at your right foot, that Donna, make sure the heel isn't lifting up. Make the outer edge of the foot, align it with the floor parallel so that groin opens. The groin opens side to side. Think of all the work, and we'll do today Parsva Kunchanasana. Okay, now hopefully I don't have to demonstrate this because we've done it a lot. Now bend your leg in space. Bend it deeply, but no. So keep it on its same plane. Don't bring it up to the chest. So the shin is running parallel, but the leg is bent. So if you're looking at your leg from an aerial view, the right leg is at a 90-degree angle. Now extend through it. So we're bending it to get the hip flat. Okay, I need to show it because I think some of you are bringing the leg into the chest. So watch. So I'm not at the wall now, so you can see this. I've decentralized my left leg. And now I go back to, I'm in Supta 2, the classic, think Upavishta Konasana with across the perineum. Now I bend it. So I'm not bringing the leg here. I'm bending it. So it's basically like a Virabhadrasana 2. My shin is parallel to the floor, and then I reach. So when you bend it, you make the lever shorter. You get the clarity of the skin from the knee to the hip, and then straighten. So that's why we're doing it, for multiple reasons. All right, can I see it again? So don't bring the knee into the chest. Think of your leg in airspace. It belongs to that good valve, the same airspace, and then you extend it. That Lubna you have. So keep it in its space. In fact, if anything, when you bend it, everyone bend it, notice how the thigh is higher up than 90, right? Lubna, you have it. That's really good. And now reach. So it's just, again, physics and geometry. Watch the foot, Lindsay, yeah, because there's a tendency, especially, yeah, to see how the toes point down. So run the foot parallel. If you're like Elaine and have it actually on the wall, it's a little bit easier to propriocept this. This is, it's not commonly taught like this, but because in my classes and Jarvis's classes, we've been doing a lot of Parsva Kunchanasana, this is kind of related to that. Okay, change sides. The other thing you can do is a coil, which we might do, but I know some of you don't have props today. Okay, left side. Decentralize right leg. The decentralized other leg makes it easier to balance. Okay, now hold the strap with the left hand, take the right arm out and reach from the right arm. If you're put 90% of your attention on the right side of the body. It really helps. And then turn your abdomen from the left to the right and now reach out. Then check in, Donna, with that left foot and see that it's parallel. Julia, that's really good. All right, now just take a glance at the corner of your left eye at your left leg. Just try this. This might be a different way to teach it. Look at your left leg from the corner of your outer corner of your left eye. Now bend it in space, in the same airspace. Just keep it in the same airspace. Now connect the skin of the left knee to the hip so you get that hip thigh juncture clarity, and now extend through the core of the hip. That's it. And again, bend it, keep it in its airspace, meaning that the lower leg is parallel to the floor and to the ceiling respectively. And then straighten third time's the charm. Bend it and straighten. Okay. And now at ease. So if you have a chair, you can take it. If not, I'll show you what you could do. So I just want to say one thing as it, we're not going to do it because I don't think that if I put too down the, too far down a trench if we go there. So remember when I've taught with the, you need 2 belts for this, and I know some of you don't have one, but remember also to do Supta Vasisthasana too. Again, this is just to have you remember with your buttock cheek on the coil. It's a very nice way to do Supta 1 so that aerial leg would enjoy the coil. Okay, we might move back to something like this down the road. So Vasisthasana, Lana and friends, if you don't have a chair, then I'd like you, and this will be harder, is to do what I call side outs. This kind of leg lift. All right, and you don't have to do too many of them. 8 to 10, right side, left side. Those of you with the chair, let's come back to Vasisthasana. So I want to just go over this one more time. So this is not it. You see I'm leaning into the left hip, so watch very carefully. And this really makes a difference. When you can pin in at the corner of the hip, it affects balance. So I pin in here. When I pin at the corner of the left hip, I'm able to get my groin to lengthen more. I have to turn that skin. Remember what I just said, outer knee to outer hip, and then we'll take our arms out to the side and go up. Now, this is something additionally that I didn't talk about on Tuesday. Yeah, you can do this way, Lana, in this spatial, forward and then out. So you cannot occupy the time. Now watch, most people's hips, legs are different. So in this left side, when I pin in, which helps me reach and turn the skin, you can see that the left side of my chest is actually further back. That's because this groin is less open. So just observe your chest. The sides of the chest should be parallel, not slightly off. We didn't talk about this on Tuesday, but this is a little more nuanced. Polly, step in a little bit so that your left hip, the standing leg, the hip is aligned with the center of the ankle. Vasisthasana. So the first thing to do, other than putting the foot in the middle of the seat, is to pin it. Because if you don't pin in, then you can't get the groin length. So I want you to get that much. Pin in here and extend. That makes you get this opening that you just gleaned. You were just in this position on your back. And then turn the skin. We talked about that. Pull back. There's that hip thigh clarity right here. Hip thigh clarity. Then extend your arms. Feel spaciousness. Observe as your right side going back, because that indicates that there's some restriction in the right side of the groin. So the sides of your right side, left side should absolutely parallel. Polly, see that you can have the foot directly under the knee. You see like this? Not yet. So the foot directly underneath the knee. Extend your arms. It might be easier for you to propriocept your side ribs. Don't let the knee turn in, everybody. Inner knee to outer knee. Then I make sure it's not too high, as long as that outer right hip is not lifting up. Okay? I think it's okay. It's okay. Just make sure, put your right hand on the buttock flesh and move it down. Now, keeping the buttock flesh moving down, reach the arms up. You know, this is something I want you to feel, because it's hard to tell on the screen. If you're really open, that's fine, Lana, too. To get the groin open. That's good, Donna. Okay, change sides. Make sure on this left side, I want you to observe the difference. We haven't quite talked about that in Vasisthasana. There's usually, so again, if just let's say your left groin is tighter, Elaine, you know that is typically side is harder. The left side will stay back. Can you bring it around? Polly, for you, again, have the foot underneath the knee because it's now behind it. And turn your inner knee skin inside out. So you can see in this side, Polly, the groin is closed more, and that side of your chest is moving back. This is when you need to be in the room. Julia, that's good. Now take the arms out to the side. Again, you can see how when you incline your mind to questioning and to curiosity, how that brings body wisdom, because maybe you just never realized that your left groin was tighter or that the side of your rib cage came back. Now take the arms up, reach up. Yeah, that's really good. Reach up. So I'm looking down good, an evenness in your side ribs, an evenness in the side ribs. Okay, and now come down. Okay, so now we haven't yet linked Parsva Kunshanasana with chair to the very first stage, not really, it's more like half stage, 0.5 in Parigasana. So watch, this is what we're going to do. You're going to start in Vajrasana. That means Vajrasana, you can just, actually you can start in Virasana. If it's not comfortable to be in Virasana, then just kneel. So on the tops of the feet. If you need the blocks, you can show me from profile, then you can switch. Virasana on the tops of the feet. Virasana is different than Vajrasana. Virasana, the feet are hip width apart. That's it. Good. Hands can go on the roots of the thighs. Use support if the knees won't allow. Okay. Now, Vajrasana, feet together. You're sitting on your heels. The spine is upright. Okay, now tuck the toes under, Suki, your favorite. Toe squash, spread the toes. Still the trunk is upright, not forward, not back. We haven't done these in a long time. Oh, good. Okay, now kneel. If you have a hard surface, you can put a blanket, a thin blanket, not too thick, underneath your kneecap, the patella. All right, now take your right leg out. So this, you were just here on the chair. You were just here. See that the knee is over the ankle. Again, put thumb and index finger at the indent. See when you move in, this is abduction, when you move the left hip in, how you get that groin window to open. That's it. Now take the arms out, turn the palms up, get the shoulder blades flat on the back. Find out, because some of you have taken the arms out to the side, have let the knee roll in. Remember, Kali, turn the inner knee. Turn the inner knee. See that the foot is directly in line underneath the knee, not forward of it, not back. Stretch the arms up, make your side ribs even, Steven. Maybe this side is different, that is tighter than the left side in terms of the groin, in which case the right side of the rib cage would be further back. And Polly, you can see that now. All right, now extend the arms out to the side. Again, turn the palms up, pin in at the corner of that left indent, and now come into Parigasana with the right leg bent, side bent. Revolve the chest away from the floor. If there's any restriction in the left arm, put your left hand on your hip. Winnie, that's beautiful. See if you can enjoy the relationship between, Julie, see if you can take the arm further down. Winnie, that's beautiful. There's a relationship between the inner side ribs, like Utthita Prajnakonasana, raise the inner right thigh. Come into the, yes. See if you can establish an adjacency between the right side of the rib cage and your right inner thigh, but don't lose the pinning in of the left hip. Okay, now come up and repeat. Okay, come back to Vajrasana or toe squat, whichever you prefer. And then kneel. And now 0.5 stage of Parigasana. Pin in. You got to get the pinning in at the right hip in order to get this groin to open like a wide window. Those of you who have trouble with keeping the knee in its place, use your hand, trace the line, turn the skin, and then go back from the outer knee to the hip. The hips are compact. There's a natural compacting of the hips in this bent leg Parigasana. Okay, now, again, observe the difference in the two sides. The left side is going back. The left side should run even to the right. Extend your arms like wings. Connect the outer corners of the eyes to the fingers and reach up. Get length. Much as you've gotten length, so you can see, Polly, how this side is dramatically different than the other. Okay, then take the arms out and side bend. See if you can, you see there's no gap between the left side of my rib cage and my inner thighs. Young Quay, I think you can go down, but watch, yeah. So watch, Young Quay, how the right knee, how that right perpendicular leg has lost its perpendicular quality. The knee is moving out beyond the hip of the right side. So bring the right knee in underneath your hip. Not so this side, the standing leg side, so to speak. Okay, a lot to work on this pose now. Now the same thing. So you've lost the perpendicular. Yes, go back. And many of you are letting your right leg be at an angle. That's a good way to go, back and forth, and then you can feel it. Okay, now come up. Try this. If you don't have a bolster, don't worry about it. You can use a block. If you don't have a block, just don't use anything. So now you can even put the bolster if you want at a wall. So the reason why I'm doing this is when the foot is pressing into something, you get the clarity of the hip-thigh junction, which is basically the theme, one of the themes of this class. So watch, we were just here in Paragostan with bent leg. All right, so now I'm taking my right leg and making a longer lever out of it because I'm extending it. In addition, I'm pressing it into the bolster, which helps me get the clarity from the knee to the hip. And then with a long lever, basically the classic pose, I'm taking Paragostan to the right. Okay, so if you have a bolster, or you can put the bolster at the wall with the tall side, as I've done against the wall, and try it in that manner. It's a really nice way to get the hip-thigh clarity. Okay, so we're doing Paragostan. You can come into it from where you were, bent, and then straight. Okay, some of you might be aided, and I've taught this before, taking your block, if you have it, and putting it as a reminder to keep the left leg perpendicular. So you're not going to lean into the brick. Young Quay, you can try, not Young Quay, Yukiko, you can try that if that works for you. Put the block alongside. I didn't see this, the right side that you did it, but it could be on the left. Okay, so you're back to bent leg Paragostan, Gadana. Extend your arms. Push the foot into the bolster. So now the right leg is straight. Toes are up. Pressing into the bolster if you have it. Good. Now do this. Remember what I said in Supta Padangusthasana 2? You're going to the right side. You're going to the right side, but be with your left leg, right? So press the left foot down, left outer shin down, and now take the pose. Because it will help you stay with the left side. When you go, that's it. Now revolve the chest from the right to the left, like Utthita Trikonasana. Utthita Trikonasana. Those of you who tend to hyperextend in this pose, which is easier, sense that my hand is underneath the bottom of your calf flesh and moving it to the bone. Donna, it almost looks like we could drop the floor out from underneath you. And now inhale, up you come. Well done. Change sides. This, I hope, helped. Block, bolster. Remember, think of what we're working with, this hip-thigh juncture. We want to provide clarity there. All right, left foot to wall without the bolster. Left foot on the block with the wall. Whatever you can rig up, whatever helps you. Keep the right knee underneath the right ilium bone. Don't let the leg become like a leaning tower. Put the block in. Okay, now we're going to Paragostan to the left, but become one with the right side of your body. And now go, go with movement. The toes are fine tucked under. I see some of you are doing that. Perhaps if you got a toe cramp. Julia Kia, pull up, everyone pull up like you do in Ustrasana, from the inner right knee to the inner hip. Lindsay, watch how it's come into an angular shape. And often part of that is because you're going deeper in the pose. So I really want you to pin in at the outer right hip. Yeah, maybe not come down as far. You know, the buttocks will go back a little bit, but Lindsay, see, they're going far less back than they just did a moment ago. Elaine, that's good. And we could spend an hour and a half on this pose. All right, now inhale, up you come. Yokwe, I think you could have gone a little more to the side, i.e. don't be afraid to side bend. I sense, and maybe I don't know if we'll touch this next week. I sense some of you are a little bit, I almost sense a reticence to go all the way. I'm not quite sure what that was about, but I'll think about it. All right, now let's do this. Let's go straight away to an angular Utthita Trikonasana like we did last week. Angular, meaning right leg is in front. So here's your mat is set up like I do horizontally. Now, why would we do it this way today? Because this is the way that you can feel the skin from the outer knee to the hip and get that hip clarity, no problem. If you have any issues with the shoulder, keep the hand on the hip and revolve. So this is an angular Utthita Trikonasana to the right. Okay, let's do it. Julia, good. Really good. That's it. Have the right foot forward, left leg back. That's it. Now, can you appreciate that beautiful young Kwei, that hip thigh clarity? Everybody put your left hand on the hip. Okay, now revolve the chest away from the floor. Revolve the chest away from the floor. Now aim to get, young Kwei, that's really good. Aim to get the sides of your rib cage parallel to each other, like you did in Parigasana. Don't let the left side be top heavy, right? Aim to get the right side of your rib cage even Steven to the left side. Okay. Then release the hand from the hip and open the chest. Open the chest. Head back. Okay, good. Head back, Polly, if you can. And inhale, up you come. Okay, angular Utthita Trikonasana to the left. So this is the thing, guys. When you're in angular Utthita Trikonasana, there's no way you cannot feel that skin move from the knee to the hip. You get tremendous hip clarity because the leg is more at an angle, hence angular Trikonasana. So it's unmistakable. So this can help people with hip issues and back issues. That's it, Julie. To the left when you're ready, in that same order. Left foot forward, right leg back. Right hand on hip, weight there. With the hand on the hip, revolve the chest left to right. Just so this is Parigasana standing. It's the same thing. Turn. Keep turning, everyone. We're in Utthita Trikonasana now, everyone. Angular. Winnie, I think a smidge more wider. You can back a wider stance between the right heel and left foot. Julie, good. Now again, this is a little more nuanced. Sense that the pelvis, but Julie, Lindsay, this might speak to you. Sense your pelvis is not sinking down. So there's not a weightiness of your trunk on your pelvis. Sense the perineum buoyant. Because that also can help with not getting hip pain. Okay, now inhale, up you come. All right, I'm going to try this. So last week we did an angular Virabhadrasana 2. We did, I think the time before, an angular Virabhadrasana 1. So try this. Let's just see if this helps. We didn't do this on Tuesday. So you're going to go back to a quick angular Utthita Trikonasana, which you were just in. All right, legs wide. And then you'll come into that Virabhadrasana 2. So really, this is not Trikonasana. This is Utthita Hasta, angular. And then you'll come into Warrior 2, which should be easy breezy because we did let the legs bend, aiming to get the thigh parallel to the floor. And then use the movement. Remember what we did in Sukta 2, drawing up and coming into your finest Utthita Trikonasana to your right. So again, wide, angular Utthita Hasta Padasana. Virabhadrasana 2, notice how I'm on the median line, not forward, not back. And then trace the line. See, I like to use the hand from the skin, outer knee to the outer hip, and plug it back as you take Utthita Trikonasana. Do 3 times right side, 3 times left. Okay, sit down. Start in Virabhadrasana 2. Aim to get your thigh parallel. Aim to get your thigh parallel. Nancy, step in a little bit with it. It's a good attempt to get the width across the perineum, but I almost think you're too wide. Okay, now slowly, like you slowly drew back from high chaturanga to dog, slowly come into Uttita Trikonasana. Put your hand on your right leg and plug it back. Articulate the clarity. Lindsay, that's good for you. Just be mindful for you of not sense, again, there's a buoyancy from the perineum upward, because I don't want you to rest downward. So energetically, Lindsay, for you, again, and Julie, that's good. It's more upward. Polly, go wider if you can. Okay, 3 times. Good, Julia. Now, Julia, take your hand to your top rib band and press it away. That's it, my friend. Okay, other side when you're ready. All right, let me see. So you're coming into angular wide leg. I hope I didn't lose your friend, Lana, with this nuanced material. All right, now sit down. Okay, aim today. I mean, you don't always have to insist on getting the thigh parallel, but because of what we did, aim to get the thigh parallel. Because if ever there was a time to get the thigh parallel, today would be the day. Then slowly trace a line and draw back. It should be, for those of you, Polly, who have a hard time straightening a leg, this is an easier path. You might be saying, oh my gosh, my legs feel like they're really straight because I'm getting the plugging back of the femur head. That, go slowly, Nancy, of the femur head into the hip socket. And as we get older, this can be another way of articulating that clarity. Okay, now let's just, for time's sake, rest your legs in Upavishta Konasana. You can go to a slightly wider one, because this is not the beginning of the class. And Nancy, to speak to what you were doing, aim to get that width now across the perineum. You can lift your pelvis up. So generally when I teach Upavishta Konasana at the very beginning of the class, I don't say go to your widest one, because we're not ready to do. And you can also tear your inner knees and inner upper thighs. But do adjust from the feet. Those of you who have want to get the calf flesh out of the way, do the needful. Now that's it, stay there. All right. So those who can, aim to get width across the perineum. All right. So Upavishta Konasana. And then, of course, the chest perpendicular. That's fine, Polly. Actually, just make the back concave, so that's more like chest upright. So walk your hands forward. You can even put them on blocks. All right. Now, just for the sake of time, this is what we're going to do. All right, we're going back to revisit Parshvattanasana, but we're doing the full pose Anantasana. So this is the pose. Some of you will need a strap, but if you don't need a strap, you don't need to use it. All right, watch. So again, I'm going back to the blanket. We've been here before. The very first stage of Anantasana is Parshvattanasana, stacking the legs. All right, hips are not forward, legs are not forward, legs are not back. And then I'm taking the sole of my foot up. Those of you who are watching, you can do Baddha Konasana or one leg Baddha Konasana, now one leg Upavishta. That will help. And then holding the big toe, outer edge of the foot, take Anantasana, all right? So I'm aiming to open the groin. So I'm aiming to get my leg back toward the wall, but my buttock to my groin to open, all right? So blanket for most of you will need it. Strap is optional, you might need it. Okay, you're lying on your right side. I think we'll do that. Although usually we lie on the left side and take the right leg up. All right, head back. See that the head and trunk are not forward of the hips. Stack the feet. If you want to come back to where we were, with the legs slightly lifted for your low back, that might be nice just to revisit that. Remember, use the floor to turn that tricep skin. That's why we did the pose down the road. All right. Now, take your left leg as high as you can, like Vrikshasana sideline. Yeah, put your foot now on the thigh. Now, here's the mantra. You want that left buttock to move forward to the groin, but the knee back. Buttock forward, knee back. At some point, I'll show you another way of doing this. All right, now draw the thigh toward the chest. hold the big toe, first 2 fingers and thumb, or use the belt like you did in Supta Cycle. Okay, now wait there. All right, now the leg will want to, I'm telling you, this is what typically happens. The leg wants to move forward. Take your leg back, but move your left buttock forward to open up that right groin. Gail, that's good. Keep the left arm straight and turn the left arm from the inside out. Anantasana. Elaine, see if you can go right above the knee so that the knee, the leg, the back of the knee should open wide. So it's just like Supta 2. Okay, now come down. All right, now those of you, Lindsay, that were near a wall, come a little bit away from the wall so you experience as Supta 2 walk. You do the same thing and then drop back to Supta 2. And then try, engage your abdomen, recruit your abdominal muscles and come back up to Anantasana. It's harder to come back up than fall back, but have space. Make sure you're not falling back onto a brick, okay? All right, we're going back onto our right side. Anantasana, Anantasana, left leg up, weight there. Now, Anantasana is basically a side, it's a Parshvattanasana Supta 2. Now roll back, go back to Supta 2. Your body has that memory. Go back, go back, go back. Now, recruit your abdominal muscles. Recruit your abdominal muscles. Remember feeling your spine in Tadasana with the roll. And now come back up. That's it, Donna. Come back up to Anantasana. And repeat. Fall back, like Ari Melber's show. Fall back, and now come up. Okay, and change sides. Well done. Left side. You're lying on your left side. Use the blanket. So that's a way of just teaching not to be afraid of falling back, right? So we actually did fall back for a reason, okay? Seeing the pose from the supine geometry. Okay, now again, establish that verticality. As you reach out through the inner heels, place the right leg as high up on your inner thigh like a sideline vrikshasana. Weight there. Remember the mantra. Knee back, buttock forward. Knee back, buttock forward. Now hold the big toe. First 2 fingers and thumb. Use the strap. Okay. And now reach up. That's it, Lana. Reach up. Extend up through the core of your right heel, but extend out through the core of your left heel. Good. Now have faith to roll back, Supta 2. Anantasana is sideline Supta 2. Nancy, the wall got in the way. Very good. And now come forward, engage your, the only way you can come up is if you have to use your abdominal muscles. You won't be able to come up without recruiting your 6-pack, so to speak. And now go back, let go, and now have courage and faith, come back up. Anantasana, on your side, Good. All right, now let's do this. So we've traced Anantasana, Supta Padangusthasana 2, Parshva Kunchanasana, Parigasana. Now, I'm going to teach Vasisthasana 2, but usually when I would do this, I would have everyone do dog pose and prepare the arms, but because we're going to use a chair, Lana, you might have to do this now just from dog pose, but you can see. All right, so watch. I'm going just like I was sideline. Now, if your hand doesn't come to the floor, then you would probably need a block. Some of you used a blanket to do this, and actually you aren't tall enough to use the blanket. Now watch. Just like you were a moment ago. Do you see the same thing? There's the vrikshasana sideline. I hold the big toe, the outer edge of the foot, or I can use a strap and put the strap on the seat of the chair, and then watch. And I take the leg up, right? So look at my left heel, look at my right heel. I want to aim to move the heels further and further away. The kneecap is facing forward. So this is Vasisthasana 2, making it a smidge easier on the chair. If you don't have a chair, Lana and friends, you can do it much harder from the floor up.
We're just going to do...
well, if you're not going to do it,
we're going to do
Vasisthasana 1. or
Yeah.
dog pose?
Yeah, we can do Vasisthasana one.
Okay, good. That's a lot to ask for. All right, give me Parshvattanasana, Lubna, on the chair. I want that bottom right leg to be straight. You can even have it at the wall. Julia, good. Now, Julia, yeah, now take the left leg just where you were sidelined. Place the sole of the left foot, Young Kwei, take the right leg. Yeah, that's it. Go back to Vrikshasana. Yukiko, see it? Just have the, so what's on the seat of the chair, guys, is just here, that indent. Some of you have let too much of your pelvis. Val, see, you have a long torso too. Just the indent should be on. Now, extend through the core of the heel. That's it, Donna. Okay, these look good. These look good. Julia, that's really good. Okay, now come down and change sides. You can stay good, Lindsay. You're doing it without the chair. If you don't have the chair, you can attempt to do it without the chair. So notice, Lana, those of you without the chair, notice how the hip drops. That's the tendency. Move the hip, the bottom right hip, good, Lana. Now just throw the leg up, Lana. Just throw it up. That's it. And again, just throw it up. Yeah. But remember, don't let that kneecap face me. That kneecap should face your chest. Okay, other side on chair. Julie, that's a good option, of course. So it's not weight bearing, Julie, but I think that's a better option to do Anantasana. And Quay, it's interesting where I'm seeing is I almost feel like the hip is a little smidge high. I almost think that you don't need the blanket, but I also can respect having the blanket because if you're bony actually in the hip, it's uncomfortable. Val, now just right above the, yeah, and I know this side, yeah, see if you can straighten the leg.
Yeah, I think you're right. The stool is too high for me to get
Yeah, because it's distorting the geometry where your hip is too high and your chest is too parallel. So it didn't quite work. And Lubna, I think, is the same thing, my friend. It's a little bit tricky, Julia. Make sure it's just so. I feel, Lubna, for some reason that blanket is too much because the shape of it, remember, it should be angular, the pose. The chest not running parallel. Can I see it without the blanket? Elaine, that's good. All right. All right. Now, those of you who can do Upavishtakonasana, which we never do, come forward, go forward with a bolster. Lubna, I think that's better now. I know it might be hard to keep the bottom leg straight. So now go back to the Upavishtakonasana as, again, a rest for the legs. And those who can, take the full pose with the chest on the floor. If you can't do the full pose, don't worry. Just take the stage where the chest is perpendicular to the floor. Or take the middle path, Young Kwei, as you're doing with the bolster. Now, Young Kwei, I will say that, yes, decentralize your arms so that the upper spine doesn't round up to the ceiling. Donna, now you can go. Good, Julia. Lift the elbows up. Haven't done Upavishtakonasana. So those of you who are not coming forward and there are reasons not to come forward, then just work on the stage where the chest is perpendicular. For you, Winnie, I want you to lift the elbows up so that the trapezius muscle, the back muscle doesn't fall on the neck. Lift the elbows up. Take the hands, Winnie, but not so much at the feet, but toward the mid calf and lift the elbows up. Or even to the top of the knee, because I just don't want this part of your back, the upper trap, to fall on the neck. Donna, that's really well-placed arms. I'm glad to see you decentralizing your arms. Lubna, you can stay upright. And actually, Lubna, that way with the two belts, the way you're doing it works beautifully. Now, when you come forward, Julia and others, make sure there's a tendency for the feet to roll in, the knees to roll in, right? Don't do that. All right, Donna, yeah, keep the kneecaps facing up. Gail, just stay perpendicular. Julie, perpendicular. Winnie, I think a smidge more height underneath your forehead could be helpful. That will also help let the trapezius not fall on the neck. Yeah. Okay, that was beautiful. All right, now when you're ready, we'll do Shavasana. You can do lower legs on the chair. You can do any Shavasana that you know, main thing like when we sat, that you're comfortable. So I hope you enjoyed this groin lesson that was focused to a large degree on bending the leg and getting that hip-thigh juncture clarity. It also, as I alluded to, helps many of you when you go from bent to straight, helps you straighten the leg because you can feel the femur plugging back into the hip socket. So I think next week, as I said, I think we're going to start a bunch of lessons with doing abdominal asanas. So I think I will sound the gong again, just as a way of bringing presence to Shavasana. Trace that sound all the way through. Sense you're being beckoned by the sound of the bell. Be here now. And what's interesting about being with sound, not only it brings us back to that sense of timelessness, but sound is easy to be with, especially a familiar sound. We often don't make stories about the sound, especially a familiar one. And perhaps just see if you can bring that same quality to when the mind goes to thinking, if you don't have to spin out on thoughts. And note, use the mental notation, thinking, with that thought, and then come back to either the breath or that part of your body in contact. See if you can bring forth a love for the here and now, that quality of presence. And let the love that's come forth melt away habits in the mind, the conditioning, perhaps even the numbness. See if you can touch that presence of love inside out. Get to know that feeling inside, knowing that it's there. It just gets covered over the body. And what I would say is throughout the day, when that presence of love, when you don't feel it, see if you can elicit it, like a memory of it, having felt it. See if you can uncover it by setting aside, again, all the conditions of the mind that prevent it from coming. So that it becomes the default position of the body over time. when you're ready, knowing that you're still in Shavasana, it's not over, so resist the tendency to catapult up slowly. You can bend your legs if you're supine. And then come up slowly again, doing this as a transition to an upright position. And then if you need to, when you open the eyes, just to orient yourself to the room, you can turn your head to side, right side, take an inhalation, and then exhale, slowly keeping the eyes open, take in the whole room, looking at the shapes and the colors, take an in-breath, and your head is turned to the left, and come back. Thank you, everyone. Good work today. I've enjoyed being with you and teaching you this class. And again,